Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy and governance. I am Hamza Idris. As the administration of President Bola Tinubu apologized to Nigerians over the current hardship and also plans a low-key one-year anniversary celebration, there are concerns over the inability of some agencies to communicate key policy objectives with a view to have the buy-in of citizens. There is also grumbling in some quarters that image makers of the Tinubu government have fallen short of pacifying Nigerians on the current hardship being experienced through timely information delivery on the imperatives of taking such harsh policy options. On the flip side, observers say there is the need to vigorously pursue national value reorientation among Nigerians on the importance of supporting government reforms that have a long time gestation period in terms of their ability to add value to the lives of ordinary citizens, leading to public outcry, anger, and anxiety. It is against this backdrop we will be interfacing with the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, NOAA, Lanre Issa-Onilu, on the core mandate of his agency and the task of educating Nigerians on key national issues. Thank you very much for coming to the program.
It's my pleasure being here.
And happy one-year anniversary.
Yeah, wish you the same.
Yeah. We'll also be taking a look at the development in Kano with the reinstatement of former Central Bank Governor Sunusi Lamido Sunusi as the 16th Emir of Kano by Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf and other matters. And from Kano, Dr. Farouk Kurawa will join us in the course of the program. But before the conversations, here are some tidbits. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano has on Thursday approved the reappointment of Muhammad Sunusi II as the 16th Emir of Kano. Yusuf also gave 5 former emirs 48 hours to vacate all official residences and hand over former emirate properties to Commissioner of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. Recall that Sunusi fell out with ex-Governor Abdullahi Ganduje and was dethroned. And back here in Abuja, the House of Representatives on Thursday passed a bill seeking to return Nigeria back to reciting the old national anthem, Nigeria We Healthy in Court, and discard the present one, Arise, O Compatriots. Sponsored by the House Leader, Honorable Julius Honorary, the bill speedily passed through first, second reading, considered and approved at the Committee of the Whole, and passed for third reading at plenary. And it is now time to take a short break. When we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Once again, DG Noah, welcome to our studio.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, 2 significant events happened today. The first one is Kano. Is it surprising the way, the bill was introduced to the Assembly yesterday, and within hours, it passed through first reading. Today, it passed through second reading. It was assented to by the governor, and what they wanted to do, they have done it.
Yeah, well, the first thing to ask ourselves is whether they have comply with the extant rules, governing the operations of the House of Assembly, in Kano. If I'm not a lawyer, if we do not have any evidence that they have breached any of the procedures they are supposed to follow, so we can excuse the issue of legality. I'm not, giving a verdict on that. I'm just saying we must examine all of that. And if they pass that test, then we must separate that from the issue. Then we now go into what that means for Kano.
Yes.
Actually, it is only the people of Kano that can speak to it. The only thing I would say is that as long as this is not driven by politics, the previous action and this one that has reversed it, we must learn to separate politics from whatever we do. We must not lose that, focus on the fact that we have a responsibility to protect and promote our cultures. And we should not do anything that can denigrate that culture. Kano Emirate has a very rich history, running into hundreds of years, centuries, ago. And everything must be done to ensure that it is not, we don't mess it up. in any way. So I cannot, I'm not from Kano.
Yeah.
I don't know the details, other than the fact that we all see the thing unfold. It happened during the time of former Governor Ganduje, and now we have this situation. One thing I'm happy about is when this happened first time, Kano was calm. When the former emir was removed, and then we had 5 or so emirates,
created.
Kano was calm. It didn't mean people were not, either for or against, but it meant that Kano people are very mature, and they have shown civilization, that no matter what situation they have found themselves, they would look for, solutions that will not lead to, chaos and create disharmony within the society. I also realized that up until now, Kano is still calm. So that speaks so much to the personality of the Kano person.
But some people believe the calmness is that of hopelessness, in the sense that people feel that the institution, the traditional institution, are completely desecrated by the political class. And they say, okay, let them do whatever they want. Don't you think this is also a valid position to what is happening?
I would hesitate to say this is as a result of resignation on the part of the people of Kano. Kano is not a new happening in this environment. We know the people of Kano. We know that when they actually are supposed to stand up, there are people who normally stand up for what they believe in. And this, like I said, is a surprise to me, the way it was handled the first time and the way it is being handled. I want to see it as an evolution. Knee-jerk reaction is out of the place. Who knows? We had an election. Was that an answer to what happened in the first time? By having another party winning election? Was that a reaction? I wouldn't know. If they are happy with this, would it mean consolidation by the ruling party? If they are not happy, does it mean they are also at risk in the next election? If this is how we handle matters, and the rest of the country has a lot to learn from the way Kano has handled this. It is not all the time that you have the instrument to fight, that you fight instantly. You wait for the right time to do so. And when you don't need to fight, you don't need to fight. So I want to commend them again that this is a new experience for me. I know you cannot say Kano people are stupid. They are not. History clearly suggests that they have people who are very intelligent, who understand their rights, and have never, ever backed away from, when they're supposed to stand up, they stand up.
And are there lessons from all this? Going by 2019, when former Governor Ganduje removed Emir Sunusi, balkanized the emirate? This is the word some people are using.
Yes, well, I'm not in the position to throw adjectives at this issue.
Yes.
I'm in a position to say that I hope whatever happened in the past was not political. And I hope what is happening now is also not political. And I commend the people of Kano for their calmness and maturity in the way they have handled it. And I encourage them to continue along that path.
All right. Well, the issue in Kano took 24 hours to mature. The one in Abuja took less than 10 hours. That is the brand new, or is it that bringing the old new, national anthem from the old bot to now front banner? I don't know. It was sponsored by a member of the House of Representatives, but you are actually a national image maker. Will it make any difference? All new, the old one, which said Nigeria we healthy, and now Arise or compatriots is going to give way for the one we used before.
Okay, there are two issues here.
Yes.
What has happened is not, we should not mistake that for a law. No law has been passed.
Okay.
It's a process.
Yes.
The Senate has not done anything like that. If Senate also follow the same, line, there will also be a joint committee of the two chambers that will now resolve whatever areas of differences in whatever they pass into law, and they will now have harmonized version of that act. And even as at then, they still require the concurrence of the president, his assent on it. So that's one issue. So unlike Kano, that has gone through a process and we have a finality in terms of a law has been enacted, repealing the old one and enacting a new one. This one, the process has just begun. How long it will take? Would the Senate also follow that same line? We don't know. If they do, would the president be willing to also go along that path? We don't know. But to speak to what does it matter? It matters a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, it matters a lot. You see, there's so much power in the words that we speak and that we hear. So in communication, the import of our statement resonates with us. There are some anthems that you listen to, and then you see call to action in it. They call you to action. They ask you to act and do certain things. And there are those that are just flat. They're just like any other song. And then when you sing them, you don't feel any psychological attachment, no any feeling, it doesn't call up any passion in you. It does not really speak to your emotion. It doesn't call up your sentiment. And it is important that you must have an attempt that connects with your sentiment and that call you to action. So that it is when carrying out those actions that the import of the anthem will now reflect in our lives. So if you look at the whole national anthem, the one that came with the independence, even the president during campaign was found of quoting a particular line there that speaks to us directly as Nigerians.
Okay.
And that is, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand.
Yes, he has quoted this stanza quite a number.
That is a definition of who we are as Nigerians.
But are we truly that? Even though it is there in writing.
Yeah, our tribe,
are Nigerians connected to it?
No, we wouldn't be connected to it because if you're not born before 1970, you didn't live through it. By 1975, a new one came. So if you were born maybe late 60, early 70, you barely know it.
So is it that it has outlived its usefulness, the new one that we have now, Arise, O Compatriots, and then we want to go back, just the way we are going back on so many...
Yeah, it may not just be that it has outlived its usefulness. I'm just trying to read the mind of the people who are into this, who are trying to go back to what we have. But it may be that they believe that the old one actually speaks to us. You understand?
Yes.
And rather than being a sing-song, it's something that can arouse our sentiment, that can, give us that impetus and remind us of who we are. I just quoted, 2 lines from there, that though tribes and tongue may differ. That is true of us. Our tribes and tongues differ. We speak different languages. We are from different tribes, over 500 languages officially, about 520 languages, officially. So all of these differ. But if we choose to stand in brotherhood, that means we are now forgetting that the differences. We are united by that brotherhoodness. Brotherliness that connects us together. So if we begin to see ourselves as brother,
yes,
irrespective of what tongue or tribe that we represent, then it is speaking to our sentiment. It can bring that, call to action to say, as a Yoruba man, as a Hausa man, as Igbo man, as Chief, as Nupe, as Kanuri, as Ibibio, whatever you are, that guy is your brother. Forget about his tongue. Forget about his tribe. So if you sing that or chant that on daily basis, perhaps it may begin to affect the way we see ourselves. you know, in brotherhood we stand.
Yes.
In brotherhood we stand. I mean, repeating that continuously on daily basis, growing up with it, and meeting it everywhere you go, may mean something to the way we conduct ourselves, the way we, you know, relate to ourselves. So if we go back to the current one,
Yes.
and then you want to look at, can also do that.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
You say arise, O compatriot.
Yes.
Nigeria call obey.
Yes.
You understand? If you look through to the end, do we have a line that resonates, that speaks to us directly, that is as emphatic as this one I just spoke about, that can, you know, motivate us, you know, stimulate that sense of togetherness, brotherhood? Is there a line like that? You know, that is left for
very
for debate.
And we are going to actually discuss more on this, because that is actually the topic that brought us to the studio with you today. But in the meantime, we'll go to Kano. We have on the telephone Dr. Farouk Kurawa, who is going to shed more light on what is happening in Kano. Doctor, welcome to the program.
Please, my name is not Farouk. My name is Ibrahim Ado Kurawa.
Okay, Dr. Ibrahim. Yes, sorry for the for the mix-up, and he's from Kano Elders Forum. So welcome to the program. How is the ambience in Kano this evening?
So, Alhamdulillah, the governor has already made the announcement after the due process of law has accepted by the system. And the kingmakers and all the processes have been done to reinstate Mala Muhammad Sanusi II as the emir of Kano.
Yeah. And where are the 5 other emirs now?
No, the law has been repealed, so they have been removed. All that has been done between 2019 to date has been repealed by this new law of 2024.
You belong to the Elders Forum, yes. You belong to the Elders Forum in Kano. This decision, does it resonate with you?
Is the correct thing to do, because in the first place, there is no need to create any emirate. Emirates are as a result of history, and these emirates that Ganduje did, they have no basis in the history of the Sokoto Caliphate. Since Sheikh Usman Danfodio, there has always been only one emirate in Kano. So you cannot create what you don't have. They are based on tradition. You cannot use positive law to create tradition. It never happens. And Nigeria is a republic. You cannot do that. But since Ganduje used the assembly to do it, the only way to correct it is to go back to the assembly and cancel it. And that's what the assembly did, and the governor assented to the law.
And it's like they are all going alongside all traditional title holders in the 4 emirates, talking about Bichi and others, right?
Yes, they have no basis, so they should all go together. That's what the governor did. It's the right decision.
Doctor, don't you think this will create bad blood? Don't you think this will create bad blood?
Create which bad blood? In the first instance, Ganduje did it to create the bad blood. So the only way you can address it is to remove them and go back to what existed before they were there. You can get title from any place. It doesn't really matter. Even villagers give titles. They don't need to be given by only emirs that have been appointed by governor. So it doesn't matter. If they want to get title, they can get it later through the right process of tradition. But why this thing has to be done is that Ganduje ignored the tradition of the people that had for 200 years. You cannot, for example, take Makaman Kano, who is number 6 in the hierarchy, and put him under their chief, who is number 46. That's what he did. So the only way you can change this thing is to bring back that glory of what existed based on the tradition. These things have been established for 200 years. And then somebody will just come and do another thing.
But Ganduje said he wanted to take actually governance and leadership to the grassroots. If you have traditional rulers,
you cannot use that. What governance is based on federal, state, and local government. You cannot create anything administratively in Nigeria which is not within these 3 levels of government. Who gave him that right? Emirates cannot produce any governance. Emirates are supposed to be tradition. And we have district heads in all these villages where he made emirs. They were district heads. So you don't need to elevate them to status of emirs.
But doctor, you know
Whatever
that in
you are going
other
to
states, for instance, you have new emirates. If you look around, new emirates have been created.
States.
Like in Yobe,
That's
for
other
instance,
states.
even in Borno, you have Dikwa, among other emirates. So what is wrong in actually creating? You have 44 local government areas, and you want all of them to be under one emir.
They are not. It's not like that. Even if you follow the constitution of Nigeria, all that thing they have been doing, there is a Supreme Court ruling that said Nigeria is a republic, not a monarchy. You cannot create anything outside this, what you have. But people didn't challenge it. In Kano, we challenge it. So it's okay. If people of Yobe want to be doing those things, it's their business. We cannot have emir in every local government, as it is in Zamfara, and in Nasarawa, in Gombe. They have all these things. We don't want to have it in Kano. We have the same identity. There is no difference between somebody in Kano Municipal, in the center of Kano, and somebody as far as Dogo local government. In the end, over 100 kilometers. It's all the same. We are Hausa and we are Muslims. So what's the issue of identity there that you have to create? But when you go to Gombe, you have Kaltungo, you have Billiri, you have different tribes. So that one, if they want, they can do it. But in Kano, we are the same. So why create? You have district heads, you have village heads, you have ward heads. What else do you need? That you must have emir.
But there are some people who are even calling for abolition of the emirate councils all over.
Then that's their opinion. That's democracy. That is why now the governor said he is following what the people wanted when he was doing his campaign. They wanted one united Kano emirate. And he did it. And those people who opposed him with these 5 emirates did not even win election in their respective federal constituencies. So you see, it's the wish of the people that the governor is doing. So if the wish changes, then they can do whatever they want. But today is the governor, and that is what is happening. And he did it rightly because the people wanted it. If people don't want emirates, that's another thing. They can cancel it. It's nobody's problem. But now, this is what they want. They want one emir in Kano, and it has been done.
Okay, finally, Dr. Ibrahim. Some of the factors that led to the dethronement of Emir Sanusi were, talking too much. I'm sorry to use this word. And then secondly, insubordination to constituted authorities. What message do you have for him?
This, number one, you have said you are sorry. I think is disrespectful and out of protocol for you to say talking too much.
Well, I'm just actually saying what people have been saying and what the then government said.
People can say whatever they want. If people are abusing people on the street, somebody should do it. That's nothing. Number one, as a person who is knowledgeable and has...
Hello?
Insubordination, you cannot talk about insubordination if you don't follow the due process. If you say somebody is insubordinative, it means you have to prove it. And they didn't prove. So there is no proof for that. It's just a street allegation. They wrote it in their letter of dethronement, and now it is thrown away. So nobody cares about that.
Okay, when are we expecting him back in Kano? Or he's already back in Kano?
The governor has given all those people in the emirs' palaces, in all those village emirs that Ganduje created, he has given them 48 hours to hand over to the Commissioner for Local Government. So they cannot stay in those premises more than 48 hours.
But is that not a harsh decision? Is that not a harsh decision to give them people who have been there for about 3 years that to live in 48 hours?
It's not a harsh decision.
Okay.
When they removed Sanusi, they came with SSS, with police. They took him out. I was there. I was a witness. They didn't give him 2 hours. They took him away and took him to Nasarawa State. So this one is even giving them 48 hours. So what is wrong?
And where are you taking these ones this time around? I mean, why is the government taking them? Or they will remain in Kano?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Yes. Dr. Ibrahim Ado Kurawa, we thank you very much for coming onto the program, and we have to have you some other time.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So,
yes, now back to national orientation. Do we have values in Nigeria?
We do. At least it is written in our constitution. The very first chapters speak to integrity, unity, and all the rest. So as far as that is concerned, it is in the book. But what we may be talking about is, are Nigerians even aware of what the values are?
Exactly. That is the next question I wanted to ask, because they say we have the best laws.
Yeah.
But then...
Yeah, that's the danger of putting up policies or enacting laws without creating institutions for implementation. So, as we have it in the Constitution, not only that, there have been past efforts at even taking it out of the Constitution and reproduce it, in document as policy. But they all ended up as policy documents. And they ended up in the shelf, gathering dust. So until you create institutions to implement what you have in a document, it cannot by itself, translate to values amongst the people. So the difference between what we are doing now and what has been done in the past are two. Namely, we are not just creating another document.
Okay.
We have 7, methods of institutionalization of the values to become part of our life so that we can have a national lifestyle where Nigerians are unique and also speak to the same attribute. So that's one side. So there are 7 institutions that we have identified that we are going to create to make Nigerians to imbibe these values and to be ambassadors of the values.
Some people believe that the problem is not with, when you say Nigerians, literally, you're talking about the proletariat.
Yeah.
I mean, the poor people,
yeah.
Civil servants and all that. But it is believed that the serious problem is actually with the political class.
No, yeah, it's not just political class, but that's the second. I said there are 2 issues, two things that are different now.
Okay.
So I've mentioned one, and those are the institutions that will translate what we have in the policy book into everyday life of every Nigerian. The second one is what you just spoke about, which is about the fact that all past efforts have always been asking questions of the citizens. And they said citizens do this, be patriotic, do that, without asking any questions of the people who are public officials. So people now see those in government as not taking any responsibility. And most of these issues are coming from the leadership angle. So this time around, what we have is to say it takes 2 to tango. So if you're asking the citizens to have some commitment, what about the leaders? What commitments do they have? So until the 2 sides agree to a certain set of commitment and they take steps to implement the commitment, that is when we can now have an orientation. So, and as we say in NOA, since the last 6 months that I assumed office, that orientation itself is a journey. It's not a destination. So you must define the destination before you embark on the journey. And the destination is, who do we want to become as Nigerians? Who are we? What is the definition of a Nigerian? It is when we know that, then we now create institutions to nurture everybody to become that Nigerian. You understand? So now we have identified the fact that 2 things were missing in the past. One, documents were produced, fantastic documents, but there were no institutions to implement them.
When you say there was no institutions to implement them, but I know growing up, MAMSA, mass mobilization, social justice, almost every day. This was during Babangida, I think, or something like that. And then MAMSA metamorphosed to become now. At the time, if you tell somebody now, even the acronym, you say, what do you mean? Because it was docile. I'm also sorry to use this word. At what level did you met no, and were you distraught when you stepped into
okay, so
agency?
The MAMSA that you refer to did a lot in terms of awakening Nigerians. Awakening Nigerians. A lot of sensitization, a lot of campaign mobilizing Nigerians.
Yes.
And so they did so well. But the reason why we are still where we are is because it takes more than sloganeering.
Okay.
So what they did was they did sloganeering very well, which is also very important. But it takes more than that. I can speak to that.
Okay, and I will allow you to speak to that, but we'll go on a short break so that when we come, we build on that. Yes, viewers, don't go away. We'll be back shortly. We still have in the studio Lanre Issa-Onilu, is the Director General, National Orientation Agencies. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I asked you the question that Noah was actually a forgotten child. How did you meet it? And what are you doing to reconnect with Nigerians? Okay, so as I was saying, yes,
after Mamsa,
yes,
government abandoned Noah. We didn't lay emphasis on the issue of attitude anymore. And so for about 3 decades, the agency and the staff had, gone into despair. There was no hope. So I met an agency where the staff just do the routine. Because that's what the system...
Just to go and collect salary. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what the system asks of them.
And you have offices across the country?
We have 812 office locations.
800 office locations?
And 12.
And you have manpower? You have staff, maybe one or two?
All the local government of this federation, the 774 local government, we have offices, we have staff, we have 36 states and FCT, and then we have the headquarters, totaling 812 office locations. And see, we began to lay emphasis on infrastructure, economic development, and all of that. They are important. But as they say in the part of the country that I come from, that the house that you build, it is the child that you did not build that will sell that house.
You have to expatiate this.
So you can have all the fantastic infrastructure.
Yes, like the offices you build. I was appalled, when you mentioned the numbers.
The economy, you can build roads, build bridges, build everything. But if you don't build the people, the citizen, it cannot work.
Okay.
Just recently, about 2 weeks ago, federal government just rehabilitated the Third Mainland Bridge. And a Nigerian went there to remove the railings to sell. Yeah, because we are building that bridge, but we didn't build the character of the Nigerian man that will make him to understand that this is my property. I cannot destroy it. So we must now focus on how to build the citizens.
But how much work lies ahead? Going by the fact that, I'm not trying to justify it, but Nigerians say that, okay, it's the only way we can get our own share. Because you are in a big office, you have the senators, you have the governors, you have the ministers. They are driving posh cars, living in highbrow areas. They have electricity. Now the poor, and they are on band A. But the poor man there, no water, no electricity, nothing for him. So if he sees something of value, say, okay, let me take this and sell.
Okay, so this is not the time for us to start passing the buck.
Okay.
And look for who to blame.
Okay.
We all must accept and take responsibilities, both the leaders and the followers. And so no action is justified, neither on the part of the leader nor on the part of the citizen. So, and there comes a time that you will say, no, enough is enough. We have done enough to ruin this country. Let's pull back. Can we now take a new turn? Not just the citizens, as I said, but also the leaders. And that's why the new value system, which we have put in place, which addresses the defect, as I pointed out, of the past effort, speaks to a charter, an agreement. That's why we call it National Values Charter. So it is a charter because it involves 2 parties. It involves the government and the citizen. So each side must take its own side or part of the charter, of the agreement. And that is the commitment we have spelled out. So the charter has 2 components. The first component is what we call the Nigerian promise.
Okay.
That the country or itself must make a promise that this is my commitment to you as citizens. And those who occupy position of power are the ones to implement this promise on my behalf as a country. And in exchange for this promise, the citizens will also have commitment, which you also must do. So when the two sides now agree and they begin to carry out this commitment, that's when we begin the journey to nationhood. So the Nigerian promise, which is the first component, has 7 pillars. These 7 pillars are the parameters to use to hold any public official accountable. I can tell you that out of these 7, you are only carrying out 3 or 4 or 5.
What are they?
Well, the president is going to unveil it.
Okay, so it's the preliminary. But are there? We have so many laws.
So now it's not law.
I mean, yeah,
but it's about lifestyle.
Policy.
Policies. Of course, we cannot run our affairs without policies. It is the implementation that is important, and there are never going to be enough policies. Even in advanced countries, as we speak, they're still making policies because human beings are dynamic. Situations change on daily basis, and you must make policies to address the new realities continuously. So there's nothing wrong in policy, and there are not enough policies ever in any environment. So the promise that this country is making to us is not new, it's not strange, it's what happens in advanced countries. In the US, it is called the American dream. It has the components of their values embedded in it. Just as we want to have our own values embedded in what we call the National Values Charter. So on the part of the citizen, we call it the Citizen Code. That is the code of conduct for the citizens, which also has 7 pillars. So the country is saying, I'm giving you 7 commitments. And the citizens are also saying, I'm also returning 7 commitments to you. So we call it 7 for 7.
Okay, 7 for 7.
So you give me 7, I give you 7. So once you do your part, I do my part, we are going to have a lovely country that we'll all be proud of.
But how is the journey so far?
The journey so far has been fantastic. Within 6 months, not only is the document ready, we have begun the process of even implementing the 7 institutionalization processes. I told you that part of the challenge with the past effort is because there were no any attempt to institutionalize those values. So that it's become part of your life and my life and the life of every Nigerian. So I'll give you an example. Okay, so you have values in the document. You have stated what those values are, both for the government officials and also for the citizens. But we were not, from when we are small, and we never encountered this value as a sort of training, indoctrination, nurturing. You must nurture people on values. The way a Muslim home will nurture the children on Islamic values, the way a Christian home will nurture the children on Christian values. A country also must nurture citizens on the country's values. So, and you must create institutions. So, for instance, those days, you had what we call civic education in school, where people learn ethics and values. It's no longer what it used to be. In fact, at the time it was taken off completely.
Just like history.
Just like history. So, but part of the 7 pillars or institutions that we must put in place to nurture ourselves on those values is this that we call citizenship study. That will be compulsory subject from primary school to secondary school to the university. So you learn during your schooling days in the citizenship study, which is compulsory, what are the values of this country. And so you learn those ones that are contained in the Nigerian Promise. You learn those ones that are contained in the citizen codes. So if you find yourself as a governor or councillor or chairman or president or senator or whatever position, you understand what those 7 promises are that you must fulfill on behalf of the country. And if you are just a citizen, you understand the 7 commitments of citizen codes that you must implement because you are brought up like that.
Now, yes, despite many agencies, of course, we have NOAA, we have the mother ministry, that is
the Ministry of Information and National Orientation.
Yeah. Almost every ministry has communication out. All the ministers, they have spokesperson and all that. But are you not worried that there is a kind of disconnection between Nigerians and government? People only wake up to policies or proclamations, and they find it very difficult to actually absorb even the shock. And that is why you can see there is anger in the land. Where is the problem? Is it that the wrong people were placed in, wrong place, or what?
Yeah, the architecture of government communication requires a lot of rejig.
Okay.
And no matter what level of competence or resources you put there, except you have a functional structure, it will be difficult to connect with the people. First and foremost, you must determine how do you want to communicate. Do you want to promote disunity, create disharmony, attack people who are seen or considered to be opposition, or do you want to communicate to create stability, bring everybody together, and create a conducive atmosphere for governance to take place and for the administration to concentrate on policies and do less of politics during the time you're supposed to be doing policies, so that you leave politics to the time of election. But if you want to continue also during the time after you have won election and you have your mandate, you still want to continue as if the election is tomorrow. You understand? And you continue to hit up the polity. You have to decide on all of this. But I can tell you that that is the difference in this government.
Okay.
This government is just 1 year old. The ministers are just like 8 months or thereabout.
Some of you 5, 6 months.
6 months. Everything is still coming together. Under the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, you have a professional, a fellow of NIPR, of National Institute of Public Relations, who understand the job. For the first time in this country, you have everybody that matters in government communication coming together, brainstorming together, working together, coming up with strategy together, and implementing together. That's what has, because first and foremost, we must bring harmony to that setup.
So it's not the number that matters.
No, it doesn't matter. So we have achieved that because of the kind of person that he is.
You're on the same page now.
Everybody. So after that, the next thing is to now get other people in government to understand that there must be access to information. Because you can even be the #1 spokesperson in the country. If you don't have access to information yourself, there's little or nothing you can do. So that is the stage where ensuring that we create a content basket where every piece of information that is important is collected. And those who are in charge are able to now go out to ensure they disseminate it. But as it has happened in the past, since democracy returned, you find out that people, if you speak to all the people who have been in government communication, they will tell you that even sometimes they also scavenge for information. So they also even pick up information from the media when they are supposed to be the source of information.
Now, are you getting access to it?
That is exactly
the difference. We
hosted
some officials of NOAA here at different times. Okay. And this thing you mentioned, access to information, very minimal. And then even funding, that despite the numbers and all that, but no money to actually carry out the activities.
Up to today, no money.
Up till now.
Yes, but
then what are you doing?
Difference, the difference is, first and foremost, the president understands the importance of orientation, of value orientation, of bringing Nigerians together, of creating a different mindset from what we have now. Are you getting it?
Yes.
So that is the reason why he created the Ministry of Information and National Orientation and took out culture and tourism so that we can have focus on bringing Nigerians together, creating new mindset that is conducive.
And are you achieving that?
We're achieving it.
What did you brought to your agency, maybe? Are there some innovations?
Plenty.
Because during, as I said earlier, I keep making reference to NOAA, even though you said slogans and whatever. Now, they were able to communicate because we saw these vans going street to street. Of course, time has changed.
Yeah, of course, time has changed. But also, there are some things that are supposed to be constant. For instance, during the era that you mentioned, in some of our local government, NOA offices or MAMSA offices, they had 3 vehicles, up to 3 vehicles, with mounted public address system. Today, not a single office in Nigeria has even a bicycle. So how do you, as a mobilization officer, move from one place to another or community to community within your local government if you don't even have a bicycle to move and you don't even have impress to work? You understand? So there are challenges. But like I said, that is the president's thinking, that there must be a focus on that and an emphasis to be laid on that. And that is what is going on. But it will take time for all of this to come. So in the last 6 months, since I got to the office, the first thing to do is to reawaken the structure. I've been to 15 states, speaking to the staff. Hope is here. Now we can be ready to work. The president wants this country back together. He wants a different mindset. And so he's going to give us all the support we need. But we must also prove that we know what to do. And we can help him achieve his objective for the country. So they are now getting ready to work. That is one. Two, within the last 6 months, we built a TV studio like this.
TV studio?
Yes.
This is very expensive.
Yes.
You've seen it.
Even without resources, we managed to produce a TV studio today because we need a factory to get these materials ready.
The author of the explainer?
That is another one. We every week now, the prevailing policies during the week, by Friday, it comes out as the explainer, a newsletter.
Every Friday?
Goes around this country. And,
okay. I think that is it, right?
Yeah, that is the explainer. It goes around this country.
How many pages?
It's 8 pages.
Okay.
It goes around this country. Not only
you want
that.
To start competing with Daily Trust.
In design.
Okay, yeah.
And again, not only that.
Okay.
In a couple of weeks.
Yes.
When you see the explainer, you can decide not to read, to just listen to it. And it will read itself to you. You can
like
also
radio, automated radio.
Yeah. You can also decide, I want to listen to the explainer in Hausa language. It will speak Hausa and read it in Hausa for you.
Where are you getting the money to do this?
That is the secret. We will get to know. See, it's about passion.
So you've been a communication person for a very long time, and we are actually trying to round up. What will you tell Nigerians to actually maintain? This should be in less than 1 minute, because the connection is far. Yeah. Nigerians are disenchanted. Yeah. So your final words to them.
No, I will tell them that now we are pregnant, we are close to labor, we will soon get to labor room, the pains are there. But after delivery, we must now rejoice.
During 100 days, Tinubu said this thing, and this is 1 year now. Almost 360 something days.
A lot of evidence.
The pregnancy maybe will outlive its usefulness.
No. A lot of evidence that the process of delivery is going on smoothly because we are doing the right thing. We are taking the right decisions. We are being bold about it. The president is not ducking. He's not dodging anything.
All right.
He's confronting it, and he knows that yes, people will react. But at the end of the day, they will understand that it is necessary to go through that process of labor pain to be able to have a safe delivery and rejoice afterward.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Lanre Issa-Onilu, DG, National Orientation Agency. We hope to bring you back, but then we'll open the line for Nigerians to ask you questions.
I will be ready.
I hope you are obliged to come.
I will be ready.
And we thank you very much for coming today
pleasure.
and for your informed perspective on national issues.
Thank you.
And viewers, that's a wrap on today's package. We sincerely hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics live, airing every weekday on a special package on Friday, during which we open the telephone line for you to comment on national issues. We will do this tomorrow. Keep a date with us. Bye-bye for now. I am Hamza Idris.